Welcome back to another video. And, I put out a video yesterday. I don't make videos like this very often. And I put out that video yesterday about Microsoft, about Xbox, everything that's going on. And I just, looking back on it now, thinking about it, it was overly negative. And, now that I've had time to sit down and think about it and kind of weigh for like 24 hours of like, hey, what's going on with it? I wanted to take a little bit of a deeper dive and give a little bit further insight into what I think is going to happen. Some of my opinions have changed a little bit since yesterday's video. I will preface this by saying this is going to dominate the next episode of the podcast on the channel, which will be we'll be recording it later this week, so it'll probably be up on Saturday at some point. Usually Saturday, every other Saturday usually is when I'm able to get the podcast edited and thrown up. But again, I thought about it some more and was like, I want to sit down and talk about it just a little bit more because I get it. Like, a lot of people are pissed off, but I also think that, like, there's a lot of bad, dumb motherfucking takes out there on this situation. And I want to address that. I'm not going to call out names in this video of like YouTubers or, Xbox experts, so to speak, or anything like that. That's not the point of this video. I've never been like one to call out other YouTube channels. My YouTube channel is incredibly small. Why would I want to get into that drama? I'm not really a drama person, right? Like I don't care about that. So let's go ahead and let's dive in. We've had 24 hours to digest the news and everything. Also, if you back up, if you haven't watched my other video, you can obviously go watch it, but I'll just give you a little recap here. We've been hearing since the end of January that some Microsoft exclusives are going to go multi-platform. Notably, Hi-Fi Rush and Sea of Thieves are kind of the two big ones that are like all but confirmed at this point. And this past weekend, it overbubbled, like it just boiled over to the point that now it's like everything might be on the table, like Gears of War, Halo, like big pillar franchises of Microsoft, along with, the soon to come out Indiana Jones game and Starfield, which I will admit there is a core group of people that I'm sure went out and bought a Series X or a Series S to play this game because they thought that this game will never come to another platform. Like they told me I have to buy this if I want to play it. I'm sure there is a group of people that did that. I don't think that group's very large, but I'm sure there is a group of people that exist that did make that decision. But I've seen a lot of dumb fucking takes on this situation, and I wanted to address it because there's so much doom and gloom. And I want to get a couple things out there and a couple things of like my opinion on the situation and things that I don't think I addressed very well in my last video that I want to address here. So first and foremost, I don't think this is the end of Xbox as a brand. I don't think they're done. I don't think it's over. I don't think they are exiting the video game space anytime soon. I don't even think that they're exiting it this generation this early. What I do think is I think higher up in the company, somebody like the CEO, Satya. I'm not going to try and pronounce his last name because I'll butcher it horribly. But I think that dude took a hard look with some bean counters at the company and looked at it and they said, "Hey, guess what? This is how much money this department is making. But now that we own Activision and Blizzard, we could now be the biggest publisher in North America for video games. We could make this much more by making these games multi-platform." And I think what happened is that you have this situation where he went to Phil Spencer and said, "Look, we have to change it up. This is not working." Get like the Xbox, and I think one thing that people automatically assume, and this is a wrong assumption to make, is that because Microsoft is quote unquote in third place, they're not making any money, and that nothing could be further from the truth. Like they are making a shit ton of fucking money off the Xbox. Is it as much as Sony or Nintendo? No, but they're still making way more money than you could possibly imagine. So as a company, they would be incredibly foolish to walk away from it right now. And that's why I'm telling you, they're not walking away from it. They're pivoting and they're changing up the formula. Think about some of the acquisitions we've had in the last decade. They bought Mojang, so they own Minecraft, one of the biggest gaming franchises in the world. Now they own Call of Duty, the biggest gaming franchise in the world. You know, those two right there, Minecraft is already on every possible platform it can be on. Call of Duty has to stay multi-platform because they went out and they signed all these deals just to get that Activision Blizzard deal to go through. So at that point, when you have the two largest games and game franchises multi-platform, then why wouldn't you take other existing franchises or soon-to-be franchises and want a bigger slice of that pie, so to speak? And that's what you're seeing Microsoft do here. Basically, what you're going to see is they're going to tip their toe into the water. I don't think this meeting that you get next week, whenever it is going to be a fuck it, it's all out now, man. That's not what's going to happen. I think you're going to get the announcement of some of the games you've already heard, like Hi-Fi Rush, which is incredibly low risk for them to put on other platforms. Sea of Thieves, which, again, that game is probably pretty stagnant in terms of more players it can get on the platforms it's already on, being at Xbox and PC. So put it on the PlayStation. Why not? Those are low risk for them, but that's tipping the toe in the water. If they come out and say like, "Hey, Indiana Jones," I'll make a prediction right here. I don't think they come out and say Indiana Jones is for sure happening at this event. I think that is something they are weighing internally. I do think the one big one you are going to hear is Starfield, and I think they're going to say, "Hey, you know what? Later this year, Starfield's going to come to PS5." It is what it is. And honestly, the game probably should have been multi-platform the entire time. You know, it is what it is. If they wanted to make money on it, they probably should have done it that way. And while I do think that they did make money on Starfield, again, all this is speculation because Microsoft doesn't report these, or I should say Xbox doesn't report their numbers anymore. So a lot of this is speculation, but I would guarantee you that more people played Starfield through Game Pass than purchasing it on Steam or the Microsoft Store. I bet you if you were to stack up the numbers, that would be why. They also probably use Starfield as their last big, like, okay, let's see, now that we have this, what's the retention rate for Game Pass? Like, what's the retention rate? If, you know, last September was the biggest subscriber boost they've had in a while for Game Pass. They have all that data. They can look at it and go, okay, how many people signed up? How many of those people stayed on Game Pass versus how many of those people let it lapse after a month or 3 months or whatever? And what can we do to keep these people? The other thing you have to look at is, and this is, I tried to say this in yesterday's video and I want to reiterate it again here. The console has not been what Microsoft cares about, number one, for years. They haven't cared about where you play their games in years. They care that you're in their ecosystem. They care that you're in Game Pass and you're subscribed to it and you're playing games in their ecosystem. They don't care if that's on their box. They don't care if that's on a PC that you built. They don't care if that's on a phone. Although I can't feasibly imagine there are that many people out there that only have the ability to play these games on a phone and subscribe to Game Pass. But hey, that's a different conversation for a different time. But I just think that looking at it, that is a lot of the conversation. And I think that for a while, Microsoft, or the Xbox division, when they went to these bigger meetings, you know, with the other departments of Microsoft, which again, at its core is a service-based company. You know, when they pitched Game Pass as the Netflix of games, sure, you're going to throw money at that because you want to build that, make that the first fucking thing of its kind. Now we're 5 years into Game Pass and you have enough hard data, enough facts to say, okay, is this profitable? Is it not profitable? What are we doing right? What are we doing wrong? And what can we do to correct it? And if the answer there is, you know, hey, guess what? Some of these games are going to come a couple months later to PlayStation. It is what it is, but I don't see that as the end of the Xbox brand. I don't see it as the doom and gloom. You know, yesterday I was kind of doomed and gloomed on the situation, and the more I looked into it, the more I read into it. I'm like, you know what? This is not the end of this brand. It might be the end of the way you think of Xbox. It might be the end of the way as we know it. And again, I don't know what the future is. Okay, like I don't know what it looks like when we hit 5 years down the line. Is Microsoft making another box? I don't know. Is it just a streaming device? I have no fucking clue. Again, the only people that know Microsoft's plans are people that are internal. I think the event that you get next week is going to be confirmation of some of this stuff. But the other thing I think that this event's going to be, and I think this is where a lot of people aren't looking at it because of all the doom and gloom, is I think this is where they're going to throw in, hey, we own Activision now. And we have all these IP, we have all these games, and we're going to start rolling out some of these games into Game Pass. Hey, guess what? Here's a COD drop today. You can play all these classic COD games on Game Pass right now. Again, I'm not saying that that is the specific franchise they're going to throw on there, but let's be real here. They're going to soften the blow as best as they can. And I think that's a good way to soften the blow. And again, you know, I've seen people that argue like, oh, Game Pass isn't as good as it used to be. A lot of that has to do with Microsoft. They're not sustaining enough great releases to keep you hooked for a couple months. Hey, for a couple months, I'm playing this game. Oh, great. The next big thing's coming out for them, and I want to play that. Yes, they are getting good games. Like Starfield was a huge game, whether people liked it or not, for Game Pass. I'll say this month right now, Persona 3 Reload, the remake of Persona 3, that's a huge fucking get. Like, I wish I didn't have infinite wealth to play right now because I would fucking be playing Persona 3. It's the only Persona I haven't played, and I really want to play that remake, but I just don't have the time because I have to try and finish Infinite Wealth before fucking Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And then Dragon's Dogma. Stop putting out RPGs so close together. And it's just... Again, I've seen so many bad takes on it. I've seen so many people doom and gloom. Prominent Xbox YouTubers, like pure Xbox YouTubers, which I'm not going to name here, are literally like, is my channel in question? Like, and I just sit and look like, no, you fucking idiot. Your channel's not in question. It's not over. It might be over in the way that you think of it, but it's not over. But I also think that like, there are going to be a lot of changes in the next 5 years to video games as a whole, right? Like Microsoft's making some changes here. Are they just for that business? Or are they getting ahead of something that we're not aware of yet? Which is another thing that leads me to believe is, okay, so like I've seen, like, first of all, I'm going to put this out there, and if this, you know, pisses somebody off, oh well. Anybody out there that is championing this, like the same people that were so up in arms and throwing a fit about, oh, how dare Microsoft buy Activision Blizzard? They're going to have a monopoly. Now for those same people to come out and literally dance on the theoretical grave of Xbox, so to speak, because PlayStation has quote unquote won the console war, which doesn't exist, by the way. Then you are a fucking cuck for Sony. Seriously, like no joke, you are a cuck for Sony, and you're an idiot. like I can't stress that enough. Like, if you think that this, like, if let's say it was the worst possible scenario, and Xbox, you know, next week they come out and say, hey, it's done, we're wrapping it up, have a good one, sorry, fuck it, we're out. Okay, and they're out of the business. Here's what happens with no competition. Oh, guess what? Video games suddenly are a lot more money because there's no competition, right? And you come back and you say, well, no, that can't happen. That can't happen. Let's go back to the 90s. Let's go back to the PS1 and N64 era, where PS1 games were roughly, you know, on average about $40 to $50 when they released, and the cartridge N64 games were $70 to $80 to $90 in some extreme cases. Like, there can totally be that varying degree, and I can see a world where if Microsoft said, fuck it, we're out, we're digital only, you get to Sony, who is the only marketing, like, yeah, Nintendo's there, but Nintendo is like Disney, okay? They exist in their own world. They're doing their own thing. So if PlayStation is the market leader and the market majority, and they have no direct competition, what's stopping them from saying, hey, guess what, guys? Games are $100 now. Don't like it, too bad. Hey, you know what? The PS5 Pro is coming out. Hey, it's $800. Oh, you don't like that? Oh, you don't like that it's $800? That's okay. Get a second job. Nobody likes to remember that great quote from the PS3 era where that executive literally said, if $600 is too much money for you, just get a second job. Could you fucking imagine if someone said that in today's world? They would be crucified. So it's not even possible. But again, I rest my point. Like, no competition means they can do whatever the fuck they want, and they will upcharge everything because they fucking can. I'll remind you once again, Sony is who led the pack to raise prices from $60 to $70, but nobody really bitches about that. If that was Microsoft that did that, you would have heard the endless. And that's how one-sided it's been for 10 years. I've dealt with it and watched it. It's been one-sided for over a decade. And I get it. Look, I get it, man. When the Xbox One was revealed in 2013, they fucking destroyed their business at that time. Don Matrick is like the clown of a generation, if you think about that guy. Boom. It's just overnight. For years, even still today, every once in a while, I will hear some dumb motherfucker out in public go, oh, the Xbox, I don't play that system because you have to be online all the time. First of all, it's 2024. Your system probably is fucking online anyways, but also that's like the damage that did is so motherfucking extreme. It's so extreme how much damage that one press conference did. It destroyed this business for a decade. They spent a decade digging out of that hole. They got a great person in Phil Spencer. I believe Phil Spencer is a cool motherfucker, okay? He's a great dude. It'll never happen, but I would love to have him on the podcast. I think he's an awesome dude, okay? But even he can't save that company or that division of that company, okay? For years, this man has promised the games are coming. The games never came, man. Like, and yeah, we did get some games, but how many games did you announce way too fucking early and we still haven't seen them yet? Hellblade 2 finally has a release date of May 21st this year. When was that game announced? 2019. 5 years it took to put that game out. That is, again, a short experience. I'll throw another great one out there for the Perfect Dark remake. Do you think that game even ever happens now? Probably not. Like, I can totally see that being a wash at this point. Like, we can never get it off the ground. Sorry. Fable. Fable was in trouble for a while, then they finally showed it, and, a lot of people sparked interest. I do actually think Fable does happen, but when, right? And we could go all the way back to the Game Awards and the whole fiasco around Blade, like is Blade an exclusive or not? That's kind of where this started. I'll tell you right now, Blade's probably not an exclusive. I just straight up, that game's probably not exclusive because a lot of these games are not anymore. It might be a temporary or timed exclusive to Game Pass, but you best believe that's coming to PS5. But again, I digress. I've seen so many stupid takes, so many dumb, like literal just dumb fucking people out there. The people out there that are like, I'm fucking unplugging my Xbox and I'm taking it to GameStop. I'm going to sell it. Fuck, man. I can't believe they did this to me. What did they do? What did they do to you? They haven't done anything yet. Like, it's just like, it's all scuttle. It's all rumors. It's all just fucking hogwash over hogwash. We don't know the plan yet. And yet so many people out there are just like, holy fucking shit. Everything's on fire. And it's like, it's not that point yet. We're not at that point yet. Let's see what they say next week. So anyways, I just wanted to make an update video to this. Sorry, I got a little ranty there at the end, but like, I'm so tired of seeing bad fucking takes on this. So I had to make another one. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. As always, until next time.